All right. Peace and greetings, YouTubers. So the 2019 Grammy Awards. Subscribers, I just want y'all to know I'm only doing this video because you all asked. Because I don't like to really watch the Grammys like that or review it. Mainly because the Grammys are just too long. Like, the Grammys be on for 4 or 5 days and everything like that. The polar ice caps are melted. The juice in your fridge done fermented by the time the thing go off. You got new gray hairs and everything. It's just so long. But, you know, here we are. Can I start with J-Lo? Like, let me put my phone over here because I got to concentrate. Can we take a minute to just talk J-Lo and this Motown tribute? You know, I'll say this. I like J-Lo. I really do. J-Lo's career, it takes me back to a nostalgic time from middle and high school. You know, J-Lo, I'll say this. J-Lo has a lane. And her lane is the visual performer that does the big award shows and gives you the showmanship and the lasers and the pyrotechnics and the dancers and the this and the that and the DJ, and then the streamers and crap fall down, and it's a big party and it's a big celebration, a big live and bright performance. That's J-Lo's lane. When I think of Motown, I don't think of J-Lo. When I think of Motown, I think of the singers. I think of a nostalgic time in black music, specifically the 60s and the 70s and maybe even the late 50s and everything like that. Like, I think of all of that. And I just think of black excellence, and I just think blackity black. And so, you know, especially since it's Black History Month too, I was like, okay, you know, I just found it so odd that of all the people they could have had do this tribute, it was J-Lo. And don't get me wrong, you had Smokey Robinson there, you had Neil there, but Neil played all of 3 chords on the piano and sang 2 words, and then Smokey Robinson walked 2 steps on the stage, did a left look, did a whoo, and went back off, and then it was back to J-Lo, and it's J-Lo getting flipped over, and the flamingos are coming on the stage, and they're spraying the water, and here come the pyrotechnics, and the streamers start coming down, and then the hologram is on the stage doing a backflip, and then she's doing this, and now she's twerking, and she done dropped it, and picked it back up, and then let it back down like it's warm, and then more dancers come in, and it was just, you know, so J-Lo was giving you J-Lo, which I don't have a problem with, because I've always said J-Lo is a great performer to watch. Like any award show like the AMAs or the Billboard Music Awards or the VMAs, I look forward to a J-Lo performance then, because I know she's going to give you all of the J-Lo stuff that you're going to get. But when they market and say they're doing a Motown tribute, in my head, I'm thinking, finally, this is the one time a lot of other black entertainers who are usually ignored by the Grammys because they kind of have their favorites and they usually only pick those A-list black R&B entertainers. I just knew this was going to be the time where they're going to go and find the Luke James. They're going to go and find the Lettucey. They're going to go and find, you know, some of the other R&B singers that you don't normally get to see too often. Usually they only get to be invited for the tributes. You know what I mean? There's some R&B acts that are only invited to these award shows when they need real singers. And then other than that, they get paid dust. They don't get to perform their own music. They don't even get nominated. Like, their albums are not even on the radar. And so I figured that it was the Motown tribute. Okay, well, at least we're going to get some good singers tonight. You know, this is when they're going to call in Layla Hathaway. This is when Shantae Moore is going to be invited. This is when Kenny Lattimore is invited. And of course, you know, they bypassed all of those great talents and singers and everything like that. Even Leon Bridges, they could have put him in the mix. You know, all of them, and it was J-Lo. And it was the most confusing dynamic because, again, I just don't think Motown is J-Lo's lane. It's not saying J-Lo's not talented. It's just like, what? You know, this wasn't even the same freeway system for J-Lo. It was like there was an overpass and a median and then a river, and then you need to get on the ferry to get across and then ride by horseback, and then way over past a dusty road to the other side would have been where J-Lo's lane was. And somehow she got in a helicopter, flew right over and landed and said, "I'm here, what's up?" And she did her J-Lo thing. Now, I'm not going to knock the performance. I think overall, I didn't have a problem with the performance by J-Lo standards. Again, by J-Lo standards. But when I think of Motown, I'm thinking, you know, because this is what got me. When she got to singing Papa Was Rolling Stone, I said, this is different. You know, this is different. And it's not knocking J-Lo. You know what I mean? It's just, I think artists have lanes that work for them. You know, like a perfect example. You guys know, since we're talking visual performance, one of my favorite visual performers is Janet Jackson. But you know what? Janet Jackson is a legend in the R&B community, is a legend in black households. But even Janet Jackson knows what lane not to jump inside of. If they're doing a tribute to I don't know, who's a good example? If they're doing Natalie Cole tribute, Whitney Houston tribute, Anita Baker tribute, any of those, Janet is not going to sign up because Janet knows that her lane is way back on the other side, past the overpass, past the all of that, to the visual performers who can dance and sing a little bit lame and just kill the stage. That's Janet's lane. She's not gonna go over here with the big house singers and everything like that. Like Janet's not gonna sign up to do a national anthem anywhere. If they have, you know, those award shows where they got the 15 singers and stuff and they all got a mic and they whoa, she's not gonna be there in that. She knows what her lane is, which I respect her for. She understands it. And so I don't know who told J-Lo that she needed to be doing any kind of Motown anything, but I guess. And so if they were going to have J-Lo in it, then it's kind of like, could you have brought a few more people? Like, I would have been fine with J-Lo just doing the Tina Marie bit, even though I still question that. And then you let some other people in, but they just let her do the whole thing. It was J-Lo sings the classics featuring Motown. I was like, what the hell? So, sorry, J-Lo fans. I know y'all didn't like any of what I just said, but, you know, come on, man. Just for the respect of the legacy that exists within what we call Motown, can you at least make sure that when you're doing these tributes, it's done in a manner where it's from a respectful plight and not just something for ratings, not just something because we need something to trend and everybody talk about it. That's the issue with the music industry now. Everything is so fickle. Moving on. I did not mean to talk about that so long, but that got me in my spirit when I was watching that. Then I felt bad. I was really about to go in on J-Lo, and I'm like, whatever. I'm going to skip the Shawn Mendes bit. I didn't care like that. But Miley Cyrus, I think, sounded really good in that performance with him. Camila, I always say her name wrong. She opened the show. She did Havana. Man, I feel like that song came out 10 years ago and they still performing it. Like, damn, girl, do a remix and call it Savannah or something. No more Havana. But visually, the performance was cool. Again, Camila, just like how I would say about J-Lo, Camila has her lane that works for Camila. And in this instance, Camila was in her lane, so it worked for her. You know, I'm not crazy about a lot of what she does, and I'm trying to give her that edge, because I did give her kudos at the AMAs or one of them award shows, but, you know, it was what it was. So good for her. What she does works for her fans, and she has all these streaming accolades and crap that y'all go up for, so I guess. Who else? Kacey Musgraves I've never heard of, but hey, she had a great night, I tell you that. So her first initial performance, I had never heard the song. I thought the song was cool, but I was just wondering if she was going to go into a different pocket, if there was going to be a climax, because the song kind of stayed right here. And so it did stay here the whole time. However, what I did appreciate about her was that I liked her in the Dolly Parton tribute and the other performances that she was in, because then I got to really hear her range and got to hear her like really singing. I was like, okay, I can see the hype. And she won some really big awards. So I'm going to kind of go look into her catalog and see what she has to offer. I thought Janelle Monae had a great performance. I thought Janelle Monae was excellent. You know, it's kind of sad she didn't get any Grammys tonight. But, you know, she did The Way You Make Me Feel. And, of course, she just always gives me the essence of Prince, which, and if you don't know me, I'm a really big Prince fan, so I always appreciate people who kind of pay that homage. And so I thought she had a great performance. I thought visually it was cool. It had the vocal and everything. And, you know, listen, when them dancers got to moonwalk, and I said, I'm going to have to step my game up. I can't even moonwalk myself. But I enjoyed the performance. And she's playing the guitar and everything like that. I thought that was dope. So good for her. I like that people are finally giving her flowers, because Janelle Monae's been making great music since like 04, 05, 06. And again, I'm shocked Dirty Computer didn't win anything. But, you know, all of her albums have been really good. Everything from, because even the last album, Electric Lady, and even the album before that came out in 2010 was really, really good. And the cool thing is that all of her albums are so different. Like, you get something different with each project. So, you know, if you really just want to try and hear something different, I recommend checking out Janelle Monae. The Post Malone Red Hot Chili Peppers bit, I liked Post Malone actually in the beginning where he was just singing with the guitar and not rapping. I was like, maybe that should be your lane, because I'm not really sold on him as a rapper. But with him on the guitar, I thought he sounded pretty decent. I was like, that was actually nice. And then when the Red Hot Chili Peppers jumped in and, you know, Red Hot Chili Pepper-fied the rest of the performance, I said, okay, cool. The nostalgia of Red Hot Chili Peppers, I'll take it. And so that was all right. And then they had a Dolly Parton tribute. And this had a bunch of different people, including Dolly Parton, in the tribute. So you had Kacey Musgraves, you had Katy Perry, who Katy was a little off that night. She was missing a couple notes. I was like, Katy, all right, find the key. But, you know, I do like Katy Perry, oddly enough. I'm not crazy over her, but she's kind of like a guilty pleasure. Like one of her songs on the radio, I'm like, oh, okay. I really liked when Dark Horse came out. And I liked, what was that song she had? I think it was called Birthday or some crap like that. I really liked that song. It was kind of corny, though. I had to play it in secret. Who else was in it? Oh, Miley Cyrus again. There was some girl that looked just like Selena Gomez, but I don't know who she was. But I knew it wasn't Selena because the range was different. And so I think her name was Karen Moores or something like that. But that was all okay. Lady Antebellum, I think, is a great country act, and they were a part of it as well. I'm not the biggest country fan. I do listen to country music, and when I do, acts like Lady Antebellum are the ones I kind of go to. The ones that are more like, I don't want to say bluegrass, because Dixie Chicks I think are more bluegrass than Lady Antebellum. But I just there's a different sound with them. I don't even know what to explain it as, but I really do enjoy their work when I listen to country. Her had a really great night. She performed. She had some other songs on the EP I like a little bit more than what she performed, but I did like the performance she had, and I think it built towards the end. And she has a very interesting tone that works for her, especially live. And so she had a really great night. Good for her. The thing I like about her, by the way, is that she's still giving you albums. So the album that came out before the EP was like 20 tracks. I said, 20 track project, because this is the era of everybody coming out with 7 and 8 song albums now. So I appreciate her for them 20 tracks. So I was like, okay, there's some artistry there. I'm still trying to get into her music a little bit more. Sometimes I'm like, just give me a few up tempos. Everything is way mellow, but just give me one thing I can shake my shoulder to a little bit. But I do like her. Cardi B performed. Cardi had a really good night as well too. I thought the Cardi performance was okay. She's had better performances. I couldn't get past her lip syncing. I'm like, why lip sync when you're rapping? It doesn't really matter what you sound like if you're rapping. You can sound like crap. And I know people are gonna say, oh, well, she was dancing, and I was like, yeah, she was dancing, but it wasn't like she was up there doing no MC Hammer type stuff. So, but other than that, I still like the performance. Cardi's had a really great year, and I like to see people ride that wave of success. And so she's definitely been having her wave and enjoying herself. So good for her. I would like to see that same energy people have for Cardi for a lot of the other entertainers as well that have really been fighting and clawing to try to have that same success. I think the industry is interesting because we like to pit people against each other and kind of like, it's almost like, especially in female rap, it's like we have it set up where there's only space for one. And so right now everybody's on the Cardi train and y'all just trashing everybody else that ain't Cardi. I'm like, dang, can y'all give that same energy to the other female rappers so we can have an era where there's more than one? Because hell, when I grew up, you had a bunch of female rappers out at the same time. Today it's really just kind of a Cardi and Nicki world, and right now y'all are trying to kill off Nicki. I don't know what's going on, what's in the water with that, but I guess. I really thought it was dope that Alicia Keys did the Hazel Scott tribute. When she did the 2 piano bits, that was really dope. Hazel Scott is somebody I think who's been forgotten by many. She pretty much was blacklisted for being very outspoken and political. And so I've always had respect for somebody like Hazel Scott. And if you just would like to know more about her, like there's some really great like literature out there about Hazel Scott. And the thing about her that I liked is that, she was so talented, especially being a black woman and you're playing jazz and classical music in an era where really they only want a black woman to just stand there and look pretty and sing and not anything else. But I mean, she was somebody who pretty much directed her own shows and everything like that. And so she's somebody to definitely follow, especially if you want like some music history from before the 1960s, because it's kind of like once Billboard emerged, like in 58, then that's where a lot of us remember music. Everything before sometimes gets lost in the shuffle. You forget the impact that people made in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s and everything like that. So Hazel Scott's always been dope. And I thought it was cool that Alicia, paid homage to some of the other acts. So she paid homage to Ella Mai and Lauryn Hill and a few others. That was pretty cool. She was a great host, by the way. She looked very pretty as well, too. Dan and Shay, I don't even know who they are, but man, them dudes sang. That dude got on that mic and started pulling them notes out of nowhere. I was like, who is that? But I tell you what, I went and bought the Chasing Tequila song while they were still performing, because I was like, anybody that's singing like that, I don't mind spending $1.99 to pay for their song. Like that man, I don't even know what he was on, but he was singing the hell out of that song. Killed it. Excellent. Nothing like a good vocal. And shout out to Drake for calling out the Grammys for being some BS, by the way. When he started pretty much just calling out the whole industry, and then they cut the mic off, I said, he's talking too much. But everything he said, I totally agree with. The music industry is so fickle right now, and that's why you have so many great acts that people will never hear of or people have never heard of, because there's that element of favoritism and politics and who do you know, and it's all about that elevator speech and who can put you on, kind of. And even the Grammys, and not even just music, even things like the Oscars and all that, it's all politics and stuff. And with music being something that's subjective, where, there's no way to measure if something is good sonically. It's all about just how something is aesthetically pleasing to the ear. We've somehow made everything so political and just commercialized and bought out, unfortunately, when it comes to music, which is why the industry kind of sucks right now. The irony of Drake giving this message, but still. Anyway, Diana Ross did her own tribute for her 75th birthday. I have nothing bad to say about Diana because Diana's a legend, and I'm not even about to shake the table with anything on Diana. I thought it was dope that she had her whole family and everything there. I was rocking with little dude with the fro because I'm all about the big natural hair. Mine's all under here today. But I thought it was dope. I can't remember the first song she did, but she finished with "Reach Out and Touch Somebody's Hand." Diana's always had a way of connecting with audiences. If I had a favorite Diana Ross performance, I said this before, I think, but it's when she did "Mirror Mirror" at that Central Park show back in '83. I think it was '83, '84. That was one dope performance. If you're somebody who's into a really good live band, like for me, a live performance, I'm usually sold if you got a dope bass player. The minute there's a good bass line, I'm sold. And so in that performance, I mean, she sped the song up a little bit. If you grew up in church, like she pretty much made the song Kojic. Like she Kojified the song. And I mean, she was just dope. And then at the end of the performance, she just throws the mic down on the stage and just stands there and just, basks in the glory and everybody's dope performance. And I was never even big on Diana like that, but that was a dope performance. So it's cool. I like that she's getting her flowers. It kind of sucks that she's never even got a Grammy before. I'm like, dang, she done got 2 tributes and y'all never even gave the woman a Grammy after all of those accolades that they read off. But again, goes back to the industry kind of being a political game. Let me see. Oh, Lady Gaga performed. I didn't see the performance. At this point, I was in the bathroom shaving because I knew I was going to have to do a video. In the last 2 or 3 videos, I was looking a little scruffy. And so I only heard the performance. She sounded fine from what I heard. And usually Lady Gaga doesn't sound bad live anyway, so it is what it is. I didn't see the performance, so I'd have to go back and look, but I guess it was good. Y'all can tell me what you thought about it. I didn't get to see the visual for it. I don't even know if she did. But knowing Lady Gaga, she probably had all kind of crazy tricks and treats and stuff on the stage and probably had an egg crack and a pterodactyl fly out of it or something. But the Travis Scott performance was interesting. The only thing that made it hard to watch is because Maurice is now dead. Maurice from Earth, Wind & Fire is no longer here. It was hard to watch Earth, Wind & Fire on stage with him, and they didn't have the full band. It's kind of like TLC without Left Eye. There's something that's missing. Even though the talent and everything is still there, it just reminds you that people are mortal and people are human. You're like, dang, time is crazy, so you got to enjoy your time while you're here. But yeah, his performance was okay. The Brandi Carlile, man, that woman was singing too. Like, the country acts weren't playing with folks tonight. Even though I thought there was a little too much country for my liking, but they weren't playing. Like, she killed whatever song she was singing. I think it was called The Joke. And when I tell you she wasn't joking with that microphone, the vocals were just everywhere tonight. I was like, okay, dope. And then, listen, Chloe and Holly, I have to shout out. If there was an award for, like, top 5 vocals of the night, they definitely were in the mix. What I love about Chloe and Holly is that vocally, they blend so well together. Now, I guess that's also because they're siblings and they can blend well, but when I look at me and my brother, we don't blend well because our voices are really different. And so when we try to blend, we still clash. But the two of them just sounded so euphoric. I was like, that was excellent. And for them to nail a Donny and Roberta Hathaway song as young as they are, a song that they probably, their parents had to probably introduce them to because they didn't grow up on it the same way I didn't either. But, they killed that song. And it wasn't even a full performance. I really enjoyed them. I hope that they're able to really catch on and become bigger than what they are at the moment. I wanted them to win some awards. I didn't see them win anything on TV. Maybe they won something at some of those awards that they don't show. But, their last project was really well. If you're into acts that are just all about artistry, because their project, I think it was called The Kids Are Alright. I liked the album. It was a little different. But what I liked about it was that the artistry pretty much was like pulling at your attention because every track was so different. But it was kind of like you had to just stand there and give it its recognition. And so I rocked with them. Excellent vocals, beautiful voices, and they didn't have to do much. There was nothing on the stage but just those two and a few little instruments. And then the one on the left, the dress she had on reminded me of Phyllis Hyman. By the way, I'm about to start campaigning. We need a Phyllis Hyman biopic, or something like to say biopic. I want a Phyllis Hyman biopic. Like, that crap is long overdue. So I'm about to start saying that crap in every video until it happens, even if that is the next 10 years if I'm still doing YouTube videos. They were excellent. And then, of course, there was the Aretha Franklin tribute with Yolanda Adams, Fantasia, and I always say her name wrong. It's Andra Day, I think. Andra Day. Excellent, of course. Fantasia never disappoints, neither does Yolanda. Andra Day, I'm not as familiar with her. I pretty much just know the song Rise Up and, like, one other song. But the three of them did an excellent job. And I'm anxious to see the Aretha tribute that's supposed to air next month, as well as the additional Motown tribute that airs in April. So overall, the Grammys, I thought this was a much better night than last year and even the year before. But yeah, that Aretha tribute. The only beef I had is they made you had to wait till the very end for that to come on. I wish they would have put that on in the beginning, because as soon as they would have finished that, to be honest, I would have went to bed. But overall, not bad. Grammys, it was a better year. some people aren't happy with the results of who won and everything like that. I'm usually not even pressed about who wins. I normally don't even comment on the awards that are given out. But anyway, share your 2 cents. What did you like? What didn't you like? What worked? What didn't work? You know, all of that great stuff. Leave it in the comment section. Anyway, I'm out. Subscribe.